You know that specific feeling of absolute cold dread when a computer screen just goes black?
Oh, yeah.
Or when the internet drops, like
Yeah.
right in the middle of a Zoom call with your boss?
Complete panic.
It is pure chaos.
For most people, yeah. And it's usually followed by, frantically pressing random buttons or maybe even shaking the monitor a little, as if that's going to do anything.
Right, the old percussive maintenance
Yes.
approach. But here's the thing. For a very specific group of people, that moment isn't chaos at all.
It's just Tuesday.
It's just Tuesday. Today, we are deep diving into the world of the IT specialist. We have a huge stack of training materials here from CompTIA, specifically their A+ Core 1 and Core 2 modules.
And this is really the Bible for getting into the industry. It's the gold standard.
It is. And our mission today isn't just to talk about, RAM and hard drives, although we love that stuff. We want to understand the mindset behind this role.
Thinking.
The thinking. The source material actually calls the IT specialist, and I'm quoting here, the hero of problem solving.
Which sounds a bit dramatic.
It does. It sounds a bit grandiose for a job that involves a lot of cable management and crawling under desks, but when you dig into these slides, you realize it's actually a rigorous, almost detective-like discipline.
That is the best way to frame it, detective work. I think the biggest misconception, and the source material really tackles this head on, is that IT is just about knowing where the settings menu is or like memorizing a bunch of error codes. It's not.
So what is it?
It's about a framework. The difference between an amateur who's just good with computers and a certified IT specialist isn't just raw knowledge. It's the process. It's the methodology they use to bring order back to that chaos.
Okay, so let's strip away the stereotypes. We're not talking about the grumpy person in the basement asking if you've tried turning it off and on again.
Although we will see that's actually surprisingly valid advice sometimes.
Fair enough. But we're going to break down what this role really is and then walk through this 6-step troubleshooting methodology that basically defines the profession.
And it's a methodology that, honestly, it works for just about any problem in life, not just computers. It's a logic engine.
Okay, so let's start with the job description itself. The module, What Does an IT Specialist Do? Lays it out pretty clearly, and it's a lot broader than I expected. It's not just break fix, is it?
No, and that's a crucial distinction. Break fix is the reactive part. That's firefighter mode. The sources actually outline 3 distinct pillars of the job.
So what is the first one?
Well, the first is troubleshooting, fixing the printer, resetting the password, dealing with the blue screen of death. But that's only one leg of the stool.
Okay, what are the other 2?
The second pillar is setting up and configuring new systems. That's the proactive work. Getting the gear ready, installing the software, securing the network so the business can run before a user even touches the keyboard.
So more of the architectural side of things.
Exactly. And the third pillar is maintenance, providing support to existing systems. This is just keeping the ship afloat. Updates, patching, optimization.
And the goal here is to be invisible, right?
Totally. If an IT specialist is doing their job perfectly in this pillar, you might not even know they're there because, well, nothing is breaking.
That's the paradox of the job, isn't it? If everything works, people ask, what do we even pay you for?
And if everything breaks, they ask, what do we pay you for? It's the eternal struggle. You have to be effective enough to be invisible, but visible enough to be valued.
Right. Now, to survive that paradox, the CompTIA materials suggest you need a specific skill triad. And this was interesting because I expected like a laundry list of coding languages or hardware specs.
But that's not it.
No. Looking at the skills and abilities section, technical knowledge is only 1/3 of the pie.
It's the foundational third, for sure. You have to know what a motherboard does. You have to understand operating systems. You can't fake that. But the training really emphasizes that technical knowledge is almost useless without the other 2 pillars:
Which are.
problem solving and communication.
And communication seems to be the one the source material just hammers on. It explicitly lists good oral and written communication as a non-negotiable skill, which feels so counterintuitive to the whole silent, techie stereotype.
Well, think about it this way. You can be an absolute genius coder, but if you can't talk to the accounting manager who's, hyperventilating because she can't access her spreadsheet before a board meeting, you can't solve the problem.
You can't even find the problem.
You can't even find it. The sources describe this exercise, the IT problem-solving activity. They pair people up, one user, one specialist.
And what's the goal?
The goal isn't fix the computer. The goal is just gather information.
It's like an interrogation.
It's essentially an interrogation technique, yeah, but with much better customer service. The user has the clues, the symptoms, but they don't speak the language. They just say it's broken or it's being slow.
So the specialist has to be a translator.
Exactly. You have to extract the relevant data.
Yeah.
When did it stop working? What exactly did you see on the screen? Without making the user feel stupid or defensive.
Oh, that defensive part is key. If the user feels like you're blaming them, they clam up. They won't tell you they spilled a cup of coffee on the laptop 5 minutes ago.
Exactly right. And without that coffee intel, you're going to spend 3 hours debugging software when you should be looking for hardware damage. So communication, it's a diagnostic tool. It's just as important as a multimeter.
That leads us directly into the core of this deep dive, the process, the CompTIA troubleshooting methodology. It's 6 distinct steps.
And looking at this list, it strikes me that this whole thing is designed to stop what we call the shotgun approach.
Which is?
The shotgun approach is when you just start changing things at random, hoping you get lucky. Maybe it's the driver, maybe it's the cable, let's just reboot.
It sounds dangerous.
It is. It introduces new variables. This 6-step process is a safeguard against guessing. It forces you to be scientific.
Let's walk through them because I think this is where that hero status is actually earned.
Yes.
Step 1, identify the problem.
Which sounds deceptively simple. The screen is black. Okay, I've identified it. Done.
But the text says that's not nearly enough. You have to question the user and identify changes.
This goes right back to that communication skill. Identifying the problem means understanding the whole context. Did the user install a new game right before it crashed? Was there a power outage? You need that timeline.
The source also mentions determining the impact.
Right. Is this one person's laptop, or is the entire server room melting down? That dictates how fast you run.
Okay, but there is one specific instruction in step 1 that I think is the most critical sentence in this entire training module. I highlighted it 3 times.
I think I know what you're looking at. Perform backups.
Yes, perform a backup before making changes.
Yeah.
It's like the Hippocratic Oath of IT. First, do no harm.
It is astonishing how often amateurs and even tired professionals skip this. You think, oh, I'll just tweak this one little registry setting, it'll be fine, and then poof, the system is bricked, it's gone.
And if you haven't backed up the data,
You haven't just failed to fix the problem, you've now destroyed the user's work. You turned a headache into a complete tragedy.
imagine telling the CEO you fixed his email, but you lost the archives for the last 5 years.
You might as well just pack your desk right then and there. The source is crystal clear. Check when the last backup was made. If it wasn't recent, do one now. Protect the data before you play hero.
Okay, so we've interrogated the user, we know the symptoms, the data is safe. Now we move to step 2, establish a theory of probable cause.
This is the detective phase. You have the clues, now you need a suspect. You need a hypothesis.
The slides have a great maxim here that I think we should all tattoo on our forearms. Question the obvious.
I love that.
Right.
Because we tend to overthink technology. It seems so complex, so we assume it's a complex driver conflict or a motherboard failure.
Right, really.
The training says, just stop. Look at the simple stuff first. Is it plugged in? Is the monitor actually turned on? Is the volume muted?
It's humbling to admit how often is it plugged in, is the real answer. I've definitely spent 20 minutes trying to fix my Wi-Fi before realizing the cat unplugged the router.
We've all done it. The source calls this dividing and conquering. You isolate the issue. If the mouse isn't working, try it on another computer. If it works there, guess what? The mouse is fine. The problem is the computer. You're narrowing the search.
And if the obvious stuff fails,
Yeah.
the cat is innocent.
Then you go to research. The sources list internal logs, vendor documentation, third-party tools. You stop guessing and you start reading the evidence the computer left behind for you.
You check the error log.
You check the event viewer, you check the error logs. It also mentions consulting other system technicians.
So collaboration.
Exactly. You don't have to be a lone wolf. If you don't know, ask someone who might.
Okay, so we have a theory. Let's say we think it's a bad graphics card driver. That brings us to step 3. Test the theory to determine cause.
And this is the scientific method in action. You have a hypothesis, now you run an experiment, you update the driver. Does the problem go away?
But what if it doesn't?
Then the hypothesis was wrong. You have to go back to step 2 and establish a new theory. It's a loop. But notice the discipline here. You don't change 10 things at once.
Right.
You test one theory. If you change the driver, swap the HDMI cable and reboot the router all at the same time, and it starts working.
You have no idea which one fixed it.
None. And if the problem comes back, you don't know where to look, you haven't learned anything, you just got lucky. Professionals don't rely on luck.
There is an interesting escape hatch in step 3 mentioned in the text: escalation.
So important. Establish a new theory or escalate. The training emphasizes knowing your limits. If you're a Tier 1 support rep and the issue involves recoding the corporate firewall, you are not authorized to touch that.
So you hand it off.
You hand it off to the next level. It's not admitting defeat, it's following protocol. And you hand it off with your notes. Hey, I tried X, Y, and Z, and here's what happened. You're saving the next person time. You're being a good teammate.
Okay, let's say the test worked. The driver update fixed the screen flicker. We are on to step 4. Establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution.
Now, this is the step that really separates the pros from the hobbyists.
How so?
A hobbyist just fixes it immediately. The professional stocks and plans.
But why? If I know the fix, why wait? If I'm the user, I want it fixed now.
Because of system impact. That's the key phrase in the source.
Yeah.
Sure, restarting the server fixes the lag. But if you restart that server at 2 p.m. on a Monday,
Oh, no.
you just kicked 500 salespeople off the network right in the middle of their calls. You just cost the company thousands of dollars in lost productivity to fix some minor bug.
That's a very good point. So the plan involves scheduling.
Scheduling and seeking authorization. The text is very specific about adhere to corporate policies. You might need approval to buy a replacement part. You might need to send a notification email out. Step 4 is about logistics and business awareness.
It's recognizing that the computer exists within a business, and not at a vacuum.
Precisely. You don't perform surgery in the middle of a marathon. You wait until the race is over.
So we plan it, we get approval, we implement the fix at 6 p.m. when everyone's gone. We're done, right?
Nope. Step 5. Verify full system functionality and implement preventive measures.
This is the one that always burns me at home. I fix the internet, high-five myself, and walk away. Then an hour later, I realized the wireless printer is offline because the router reset changed all the IP addressing.
A classic mistake. Full system functionality means looking at the entire ecosystem. You fixed the specific error, great, but did you break anything else in the process? You have to check everything.
You have to verify the whole patient is healthy, not just that the wound is closed.
Exactly. And the second half of that step, implement preventive measures, this is where you actually provide long-term value. This is where you become the hero from the intro.
How do you mean?
If the computer overheated because it was clogged with dust and all you did was wait for it to cool down and reboot it, it's just going to overheat again tomorrow.
You fix the symptom, not the root cause.
That's it. Implementing preventive measures means cleaning the fans or moving the tower to a spot with better airflow. Or maybe it's training the user not to stack files on top of the air intake. It's about stopping the problem from happening again. If you have to fix the same problem twice, you failed the first time.
Which brings us to the final step. Step 6, the one everyone skips, the one everyone hates.
Document findings, actions, and outcomes. The paperwork.
Why is CompTIA so adamant about this? The problem is fixed. Everyone's happy. Why do I need to sit down and write a report about it?
2 big reasons: accountability and history. The source talks about ticket systems. In a corporate environment, you absolutely need a paper trail. If that same computer crashes again in a week, the manager wants to know what you did last time.
So it's a liability thing, to prove you did the work.
Partially, yeah, but it's mostly about knowledge transfer. The text says, write clearly and concisely. You are writing for the next technician. Or, honestly, for your future self.
Oh, that's true. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, let alone how I fixed some specific registry error 6 months ago.
Exactly. If I run into a weird error code, the very first thing I do is search our internal knowledge base to see if anyone else has run into it. If you documented your fix, you just saved me 5 hours of troubleshooting.
So you're building a collective brain for the IT department.
Yes. If it isn't documented, it didn't happen. That's the golden rule. It's about leaving the campsite a little better than you found it.
It really is a complete loop. You start with communication, talking to a human user, and you end with communication writing to the human technician who comes after you.
That's a perfect analogy. The technical stuff is just the filling in the sandwich. The hard skills are wrapped in soft skills. You can't be an effective IT specialist with just one or the other.
So zooming out, we have the mindset, hero of problem solving. We have the skill triad, technical, problem solving, and communication. And we have the 6 steps: identify, theory, test, plan, verify, and document.
That is the entire package. That's the framework.
What strikes me is just how universally applicable this is. The source material is strictly about computers, right? CompTIA Plus is technical training. But this methodology, step 1 through step 6. It feels like a life skill.
It absolutely is. I mean, I would challenge anyone listening to think about a non-computer problem they have, maybe a health issue.
Okay.
Step 1, identify the symptoms and don't panic. Step 2, establish a theory. Is it the flu or just allergies? Step 3, test it. Take an antihistamine.
Step 4, plan. Don't take the sleepy medicine right before you have to drive. Step 5, verify. Did the sneezing actually go away? And step 6, document. Tell your doctor what worked so it's in your file.
It works for car repair. It works for relationship conflicts, financial planning. It's a logic engine for chaos, and it removes the emotion and just replaces it with process.
The most powerful part to me is step 5, preventive measures. How often do we fix a problem in our lives? Pay off a debt, apologize to a friend, but we don't change the behavior that caused it.
We don't clean the dust out of the fan.
We don't. And so we end up overheating again a month later. We keep treating the symptom, but we completely ignore the system.
That's it.
Exactly. So here is the thought I want to leave you with today. We've been talking about CompTIA Plus training. We've been talking about servers and backups and drivers. But look at that 6-step list again. Where in your life are you currently using the shotgun approach? Just blindly trying things to make the error message go away.
And what would happen if you slowed down, backed up your data and actually followed the protocol?
You might just find you stop fixing the same problems over and over again. You might actually solve them.
That's the goal.
Thanks for diving deep with us into the detective work of IT.
And go check your backups.
Seriously, do it right now.
See you next time.